I think the Knights were poor. I thought the Knights were really...
I'll ask a question about the Knights. They fought hard to get Jack Cogger to the club, right? And got him after what he was doing at Penrith, and I thought he might have stayed another year, with that system. But he said, "No, I'm going to return home to Newcastle." I was surprised when they had him on the bench, but fair enough. They went with Hastings and Gamble. They did a good job, in combination with Ponga. But the other night against Canberra, I was watching them, and they were very sideways. I think there was probably once they got it right, and that was the Frizzell try, where Gamble went across, he sort of set for a sweep shape, hit Frizzell short, and he went through. But apart from that, it was all everyone was running like a parallel line. There wasn't much straighten. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking about the Penrith grand final the year before, and I'm thinking, this is exactly where they need Cogger. And then Cogger, I see him come to the sideline and said, OK, here he comes. He's to come on, he's going to straighten them up, and they put him in the dummy half. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think he should be the halfback. Look, I think in terms of Newcastle, I totally get why Hastings and Gamble started. Loyalty for what they did at the back end of last year, they were great. Pong is your key indicator. He's the guy that needs to be touching the ball all over the park as much as you can. If Cogger's there, I'm not sure who complements him, whether it's Gamble or Hastings. But I think you got to play to your strengths. And what Cogger did in that grand final showed me that he understands the ball playing art of it. He knows how to create space for others. And if he does that more times than not, then I think, whoever it is, Hastings or Gamble or Ponga, will get the rewards of it. But it would be a big call for Adam O'Brien to go, right, we won 10 in a row, got to this level. Oh, and by the way, you two halves, one of you are out and Cogger's in. So I think it's only a matter of time. But I'm predicting he'll play in half.
Because Gamble, when they first got Gamble to the club originally, I think his role they were looking at was almost like how Serraldo looks at Jamin Salmon. He's a bloke that can play through the middle. He's a great competitor.
More 14 than Cogger does, and it may only be a matter of time, I think. The play-for-play that Ponga did on against the Storm, I think it was the cutout pass for the try. Big left foot step back inside Lier on his favourite 4-on-4, then goes to dummy half, looked right, knew he had his number, and then zipped out and went bang. Beautiful pass out wide. That was the best play-for-play I saw on the weekend.
What an important win for Newcastle, but then further evidence of the type of year that they've got built in the Melbourne Storm. To go in without all those key men and still with a minute or two, like everyone in that night stadium, they were tightening up.
What's your Cogger's role? Thought Cogger was okay?
I thought Cogs played how he plays. Very organised, very neat, did what the side needs.
I think that helps Newcastle. I think that helps Kalen and things like that. So, I thought that was the best play-for-play I saw on the weekend.
The guy David Armstrong for Newcastle has been a revelation. It's been incredible. He did his ACL a couple of years ago, and he sort of came out of nowhere. I was watching the New South Wales Cup one day. He took the ball and shot off, and I thought, man, he's got a bit of something, this kid. But the way he's elevated himself, come into first grade, and he's just getting better with every performance.
And he's got a good temperament too. Like you see when he gets interviewed after the game, he's not over the top. He's pretty humble about it.
When he scores a try, he just turns and he just walks back. He's just, boom, poker face.
And you said they're on the upward trajectory last week. And the fact that Kalen's a star, right? But it's almost like, let's say Kalen's 10 out of 10. It's almost like every other player's picked up 1 point in their game to cover the loss. Because they're doing all the little basic things that you need to. And if they can hold on to that and bring him back, maybe Armstrong stays in the team somewhere else, but it could be a blessing in disguise, really.
Most disappointing side?
The team that played the Bulldogs.
Newcastle. They were really poor. Really, undoubtedly.
Their attack was ineffective at best. They had enough attacking ball to beat the Bulldogs.
Well, Toby Sexton spent time on the bench, so did Connor Tracy, two vital players. They were really disappointing. It was funny, Joey's been saying for a little bit now that he believes it's an opportunity to put Will Price in. I agree. I agree.
What kind of player is Will Price?
He's a terrific runner. His dad Leon was a great player in England, and he's a real live wire. Look, he's raw,
Yep.
He's still got a lot to learn, like all young players. But I think he'd bring a certain energy. I'd probably give him a taste at 14.
Yep.
And just see what he can do. I think he can just, particularly where there's no Kalen at the moment, just give him a little bit of spark.
Yep.
It was funny because Joey said it, and Adam said in the press conference, where I thought it was a bit, he said, I don't know how many games New South Wales Cups Joey's watched. You know, the grandstand is named after him.
Good point. It's a good comeback.
Yeah.
I agree with their attack needing a bit of re-energy, if that makes sense, because on the weekend you saw the ball in the middle of the field, it goes to Hastings or it goes to Cogger, like-minded type players, and they were just distributing sideways. It became pass-centric. There was zero thrust forward. I think Cogger ran the ball just before half-time and almost set up a try.
Yes.
It was the only forward assault that they really had for the whole time.
And Brayley, Jade, is not a dummy half. He'll work his backside off.
They need more from Brayley and Crosland. They need something there. Maybe that's where Price comes into it.
Bring him on,
because
see how he goes.
If you're not a threat around the middle and you just pass centric, there's so much pressure that pushes that halfback sideways. So a little bit on Brayley to have a go every now and again.
Cowboys Knights.
Yeah.
This is interesting, and I tell you, the reason I give the Knights a great chance.
Talking about bias here or just generally thinking?
I'll talk generally, and I mean this, see what you think about it, is that Dolphins are a very good grafting team. They graft and they grind, they get you in the arm wrestle. There was moments in the game the other day that they were sort of just going about their work, and I was starting to see a bit of the gas going out of our defence, and I was thinking, where's this going?
Our defence?
The Knights' defence, the red and blues defence.
Just double checking where.
And I thought, but they hung in there and they got through it.
Yeah.
What's the one thing I reckon the Cowboys have struggled with this year? Cowboys they burst out of the barriers and they just go for it.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why there's a big difference between their best and their worst.
Yeah.
And you just don't know what you're going to get. That, for me, the fact that if the Knights can get there and they can make this an ugly, stop-start game and just a grind, I think they can beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, when there's a huge gap between your best and the worst, the best way to highlight the worst, so it gives you the best chance of playing, is bring the game into the trenches and make it really tough and uncomfortable. If you make it stop-start, if you make it free-flowing and flamboyant, then that team that can go to a height like the Cowboys will find it. But if you make it like really ugly, it might just drag the Cowboys out. But I think the Knights, they've got to, wrestle around with the Cowboys' inconsistency, and then Kalen has to strike like he did on the weekend.
Like last season, their best football come at the back end of the year, but I think it's time for the Knights. It's time to take that next step.
Yeah, I agree.
Crept into the finals, but still haven't been able to really establish themselves as a finals team, if that makes sense.
I don't go back as far as you, but I'll tell you what, Kalen Ponga, that is the best individual performance from a losing team in a final I have seen.
He's been phenomenal the last 2 weeks.
He was so good. He was, he was all forms of Superman for the Knights on the weekend. He was tremendous. And if they're going to do that next step, he needs a bit of help. Yeah. They need a half. Like I think, look, Cogger's probably got the fundamentals of a half who could be that controlling seven, kick and create and provide space. But they need someone else that's a little bit, not as dynamic as Kalen because there's no one else around, but they need someone to complement Kalen with the footwork, the speed, the breaking the lines, just something who can help on the other side of the ruck.
Yeah.
Because if Kalen doesn't do it and Bradman Best doesn't do it, there's not enough more athleticism in around that spine ball plan that can create.
That plan B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, when plan A works with Kalen, poof.
That's right.
So good. Yeah.
Some of the selections were unusual, like this year, that they just chopped and changed with the spine, which made it very hard to form combinations in the core of the side, including, I thought the Phoenix Crossland was having a stormer of a year in dummy half and then suddenly plucked out of there and put in seven.
I get why we critique coaches for chopping and changing, but also put it back on the players because no one stands up and grabs it. There's an opportunity there.
Yep.
There's the 7 jersey, it's yours, 6 weeks later you change. Well, something happened, that player didn't grab that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I get it. So maybe the carrot was there to be dangled and no one really took it.
I thought Dylan Lucas was probably our best player.
He's
Kalen, of course,
fine.
the best player. I thought he was terrific.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah.